What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the one and only Dark Waters. And before I start this off, let me do a little bit of explaining to everybody. So for those of you who've been swimming in the dark waters, you have your battleships, you have your submarines. Some of you guys are over there on Bigfoot Island stranded right now. I apologize, but I've been told to specifically do this for a reason. So I'm replaying some of the old things that we have because we have an influx of new people, and every time we have an influx of new people, is people who don't know and they don't understand, and there's people who assume that everything that we're saying isn't true. And so I prayed about it, and God said, no, don't reply, don't say nothing. The proof is in the pudding. Just put the pudding back on the table and move on. So today and tomorrow, you may see me putting some pudding back on the table. But just because you see this pudding being put on the table, because it's soft and it's mushy, it's easy for people to consume. And I know you guys are used to full 5-course meals. You getting, steak and potatoes and vegetables is what the family's used to, right? But I need to put a little pudding on the table, so I don't have to have discussions. There can be no arguments. There can be no discrepancies about what we do here. But once this is put out on the table, we get right back to what we were doing. And I've been told that I can do a whole lot of stuff that I have been waiting on doing to hear word from God on doing. So let's put this pudding out here. And you're going to see, for those of you who are new here, what you are listening to is the Talking Dogman show, segments from the Into the Dark Waters show, where people call in and they share their encounters. What you're going to also hear doing this is how I interact with those people, loop them, and try and get to the bottom of what's going on. Except for you're hearing it live on air. Now, let's take this call. Hey, this is Dark Waters. Who am I speaking with?
Yo, this is Kobe from Indiana.
What's up, Kobe? How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, man. My friend Carter called in about 10 days ago, and he told me about your YouTube channel. I never knew you existed, and he basically came on, just said some stories about my property that I live at, some stories that me and him have experienced, some that I have experienced, and he basically got me hooked on. He showed me your YouTube channel. I basically got hooked onto your videos. I started watching a bunch of your videos. Super entertaining, by the way. And I was just hoping if I could share a few stories that I had with you today.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this question, though. That's the property where you guys had the photos with the orbs, where the church was? Is that the same one we're talking about?
Right, the church. The lightning bolt that was coming down, the head, whatever.
What the hell was that lightning bolt, bro? What the hell was that?
See, so basically what happened was I was having this bonfire with my friends, like I usually do, and me and him just decided to go walk around and just see what's out there. And we walk up to the main road. Basically, the cemetery that he mentioned is across from my house. And I mentioned that I thought I saw somebody standing across from the main road by the cemetery. So we immediately walked up to try to see if there was anyone out there. The bugs were out, so there was a lot of wildlife going on. So we didn't really think that nobody or anything was out there at the moment. So we were kind of just talking, looking around, and I decided that I want to take a few pictures of the cemetery. Basically, they're like on the right of the cemetery is this open field where I thought that I saw the person. So I'm just taking a few pictures, taking a few videos, and I didn't even notice the lightning bolt until I got home and looked at the pictures the next day. Because when I took that picture, there was nothing at all. We were both looking in the same direction as I took the picture, and it was absolutely nothing. And like I said, I didn't even notice it until the next day. So I'm still trying to figure out what the hell was that, and how did that appear in the photo? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I'm trying to pull it up right now. That shit was crazy. So you couldn't see this, man? That dude, that's crazy. Because
I mean, as a kid, I would always see stuff around here. This place has got a lot of paranormal activity. I mean, there's an old cemetery across from my house. It's got I was checking it out not too long ago. People from the 1700s. That's insane, honestly. And there's just a lot of stuff going on around here that I just can't really put my finger on it.
Do you think is that a dude standing next to the lightning bolt? Hold on, man. Hold on. Let's take one thing at a time. Cause this is crazy. Hold on. Let me get this up for everybody to look at. Cause it looks like a person standing next to the freaking lightning bolt, bro. It
Oh shit!
literally
How do
looks
you even notice? Because
that.
yeah, like I said earlier, I thought I saw somebody standing on the road, which attracted both of us to come up and look around. So if there's a person up there, that is just freaky as hell, man.
No, I'm about to show it to. I'm about to show it to everybody. To me, it looks like there's a person standing next to the lightning bolt. I'm getting nervous now. Hold on, give me a second. Let me figure out what the fuck I need to do to
Yeah,
fix this.
got chills down
Um,
my spine now.
hold on. Let's go there. Let's go image. Let's go there. Let's go there. That's it. Boom. All right, let's go. Okay, and let's bring that up. All right, for those of people in the chat, here's a lightning bolt. And let me just keep going all the way in. And you guys not doing no mad scientist type bullshit. Like,
No, man, like you can come out there sometimes if you want, but like we were both standing right there, and like I said before, we were just both standing like on the straight ahead was a cemetery. To the right of us was this open field, and to the open field, more to the right, are some houses. Just plain old houses, neighborhood houses, just some old farms basically. And there was nothing there. I just took the photo, and next day I look at the photo, just this big lightning bolt, and I have no idea what it is.
well, you can clearly see a person's legs next to the lightning bolt. Like, you can see a legs, a torso. You can see the feet as they're
Oh my
moving.
god.
Like, that's the. I don't know what the hell. Like. I don't know,
Dude,
dude.
that is freaky because I swear to God, I never even noticed there was a person right there. That is just freaky, man.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that is, bro. I honestly do not know. I looked at it like when he's emailed it to me. I looked at the pictures. I was laying in bed, and I was sitting there scratching my head, and I said, "Man, I don't have any reference point to even look at it and figure out what it could possibly be. I
Right.
just don't know.
Yeah,
Have you?
yeah, I know it's a lot to take in, but it's for real, man. Like, you just gotta take my word for it.
Oh no, I'm not saying you lying. I'm just saying
Oh, yeah, right.
that's one of those things where it's just like, dude, I don't fucking know. I mean, like, I really don't know.
Yeah,
I just,
right.
because for people in the chat, they can't see it. Hold on, let me try and because this boat, look at how this shit goes up to the sky. Like, it goes. And I'm never. That's not even lightning, bro. Lightning
Yeah,
doesn't look like that. Lightning strikes don't look like that. That's why I was saying maybe y'all on some old Tesla mad scientist type shit because that's the only thing I could think of. Because that's
right,
not even a lightning bolt. Like, if we pulled up photos of lightning strikes, that's not lightning, bro. That's not. I don't
right.
know what the hell that is. So let's
I
go. Let's
honestly
go
like.
through this though. So
Sure.
let's just walk back through this. See if we can find anything that you may remember that you may missed. Okay, so this is when you guys. This is the same night you went to the cemetery and you guys were messing around the cemetery.
Yeah.
This is a different night.
Oh, this is the different night. We didn't go to the cemetery. We were standing across from the cemetery, like when I took the photo, but we didn't actually go in.
So this
So it's
photo is
two
in the
different.
cemetery itself. What are we taking a photo
Oh
of? Is
no, no.
that
So this photo, this is on the right of the cemetery, where I was saying there's an open field, and next to the light is just there's some houses. There's a road basically to the right of the field, and along the road there's an old farmhouse. There's somebody still living in it, and that's where the light's coming from, next to the house, across from the field to the right of the cemetery.
my brain is hurting. There's no way. Like, it's hurting my brain. Like, so There's nothing in the house that could generate anything like this. There's absolutely nothing. The photo is
Yeah,
definitely real because
I know the guy that lives in the house. He's just an old farmer, and like in his 70s, 60s. I don't know. So there's really nothing that could have caused that. Anything logical, at least.
well, I'm trying to figure out who this is next to this thing because you can clearly see him standing there. Or is it just a big black
Right.
shadow? Like I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
Something that kind of just came to mind that kind of got me thinking. Since I had said I know I thought I saw somebody. Um. So that farm, at the house where the light is coming from. The old farmer, his dad used to be a farmer. He died. I'm not sure when. I think it was a couple of years back, maybe 5, even 10 years it could have been. I remember, which just when I was a real young kid, he died, and then he's actually buried across the cemetery. And I kind of just got this thought, what if that could have been him? Because he lived in that house where the light is coming from, and his body is in the cemetery. So
But
that kind
he's
of just got me thinking. Yeah,
how long has he been dead though?
gosh, it's got to be.
He ain't just
I want
recently
to say
died,
like,
right? Around the time you took that
no,
photo.
it's been a long time ago. I was around 10 years old. I'm 20 now, so it's got to be around 10 years.
Yeah,
So yeah, 10 years.
dude, dude, you got some extra next level paranormal shit going on right there. And that
Yeah,
light is it's not even hitting the ground, man. It's like it's stopped.
yeah. Like, God, dude, I don't even know, man. It freaked me out when I first saw it.
Yeah, brother, I wish I could tell you what the hell that was. I really wish I could. I cannot,
Oh,
for the life of me, tell you what the hell that
that's
is.
right, man. I'm just happy to come on here and share my stories with you.
That's crazy. So let me ask you this: that you guys were messing around in the cemetery when you guys caught all those orbs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the
What?
other pictures.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. So like, yeah, we were up in the cemetery. My friend, he mentioned this to you. It was me that went up at first. Carter was down back at my house with the bonfire. I went up with two other guys. We were just we went into the cemetery to look around, and he mentioned that they were dancing around. Basically, they were kind of dancing on the graves, disrespecting it. I did not like it at all. So we were getting ready to leave, but that's when Carter came back up, and we were all hanging out. And that's when I started taking some pictures and got all the orbs and stuff. And he mentioned on your live stream that he felt a witch, that an energy of like a woman, a witch. And when he told me that, and when I heard it again in the live stream, I started doing more research, about the history of my town. I was trying to find out more stuff. I recently found out. I found this old paper that was written in one of the old schools that used to be in this town. It's not up anymore, but it was an old school. Basically, what happened was the teacher had an assignment for the students, and the assignment was to write about some old tales, stories that they've heard, or whatever types of stories they've heard, legends from this town where I lived at.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was 2 to 3 stories that I came across that multiple students wrote about were about witchcraft being practiced in this town. And I had no idea that was even going on. I could email you those stories so you could take a look for yourself. But they talked about witchcraft being practiced, people turning into animals, people being able to control animals, mice,
Oh,
causing.
you got to send that shit to me. I got to read that. I got to have that in my collection of weird shit. I got to see that.
Yeah, so like that honestly that really freaked me out because Carter was like saying that he was feeling that energy, and then all of a sudden here I am just finding out this story about there was actually witches in this town. And I'm like, that is just messed up. So like what I'm thinking is that, if there really were witches, people practicing witchcraft, and he was feeling the energy, I think that, there could be a witch buried in the cemetery. Since I mentioned earlier that we were looking at graves from that date back all the way to the 1700s. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, and that's when people really were practicing the real magic. Yeah, that's a long
Right,
time ago. That's when the
right.
real magic was going on. This is not the stuff that a lot of these people practice now. That a lot of the stuff
Hmm.
is like this new age stuff. That stuff back then was the real deal. Yeah, so it might be a witch buried there. The only thing I can think of, if you want to try and get to the bottom of it, would be every town has somebody who serves as a historian. You might want to figure out who that town's historian is. Somebody there
Oh,
that keeps up with that type of stuff. Might want to find the historian for that area, and if they can't tell you, they can point you to the microfiche. You probably don't know what microfiche are because you're younger than me, but you can get the
nah.
microfiche articles where that's the original scanners were microfiche. You can find those microfished old articles in old newspaper clippings. If they still have that, they should still have it. That will allow you
Okay.
to dig deeper into it. But you got to find the right person. I would start at the library. You guys have a local library?
Yeah, we've got one further uptown.
Yeah, I would start at the library, and I would just say, "Hey, I want to research the graveyard and see who's buried in the graveyard." And
Uh-huh.
they may have moved everything digitally, but they'll have the information. That's kind of a trade
Right.
secret of mine. When I want to try and find out stuff, I go and find whoever the historians are in these local towns, and then call the libraries, and I get all kind of information.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'll
I
definitely have
appreciate
to
you
do
too,
that
brother.
soon.
I will be back on Thursday if you want to call back, but I'm gonna close the show out because this has been mind blowing. This has been too much shit for one night. Like
Yeah,
a big ass
for sure, man.
face, then my man Brad
Yeah.
getting ran out the woods, then you call with this goddamn lightning bolt and a gigantic shadow man. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I appreciate you calling
Yeah.
me, brother.
You too, man. Like, yeah, I'll be back on Thursday when you're doing it because I've got so many stories that I want to talk about.
Absolutely, absolutely. Call me first thing Thursday, and we'll talk about them all.
All right, sounds good, man. Thanks for
All right,
having me on. I appreciate it.
all right. I appreciate you, buddy. Okay, bye.
Hey, Mr. Waters.
Yes, sir.
I want to first say I love your show, and the dumbest thing I could do is call in. But I wanted to call.
It's not the
I have
dumbest
to
thing
call
you can
to
do.
say I admire what you're doing with the cams and everything, and I've had quite a few strange encounters, and I'm not into this kind of stuff, but I figure what happened to you, if you speak on it, other people will speak, and it'll help other people. Because once you encounter something, you can't deny it to yourself. And I was in a rough encounter, and I'm not going to go into it because I know you don't want to hear stories that's already been told. I talked to, what's his name, Mr. Sean?
I never
Are you
said I
there?
don't want to hear stories. I never said that. I'll listen to your story.
Well, I know what I heard one show. You was like, "Don't rehash something." You was on another show, but it was a
No,
horrible.
I want
It
to
was
be clear. That's one particular show, and everybody knows that show. Outside of that, bro, you good. Go ahead and shoot, man.
well. It takes so much energy to tell it than even what I experienced, and I'm sorry. Everybody say don't apologize, but we were at I was doing a job, and I was working two properties right beside a swamp. And every time I went back in the woods down there, it's a stream and a swamp right beside the trailers. It was almost impossible not to feel like I wasn't being looked at, and I was nervous, but I didn't see anything. Didn't think nothing of it. But one day, me and my ex and a friend that I was allowed to hire because we was clearing land, setting up trailers and stuff down in the bottom down there. Hey, baby, well, a baby started crying. It was just like if you were in the bedroom with a speaker by your head. It was real loud, and then the mother started cooing to it. And my friend George, I said, we got to go check this out. And it was so thick with those sawbriars, because I was raised hunting. I'm Port Cherokee. I'm a brother, but I'm Port Cherokee. So I'm real familiar with the woods and stuff. So I went and got my pruning shears, and that's the only way I could get in because it's so thick. And I went in there, and I stayed for about 30 minutes right at dark. It's right around Halloween then that year. And I stood there, and I looked, and I didn't see anything. And right when it got so dark, I said, I got to get out of here. I saw 2 trees right in front of me that was not there. I swear on my parents' grave. I was like, where did those come from? And I looked at them, and I tried to shrink them down, but one looked 12 foot tall, and the other was a couple foot shorter. But they were directly in front of me, about 40, 50 yards from me. And I could see glints. I assumed they were, foliage that was dying in the fall. So I tried to work my way back out. As soon as I got out, my girlfriend at the time, as soon as I walked around the end of the trailer, she said, what did you see? I opened my mouth to tell her I didn't see a damn thing. But as soon as I opened my mouth, this thing roared from 25 feet right behind me. It roared, it screamed, but there were some syllables in that. You probably know this better than me, but I heard a language. Then it went to a growl, and I couldn't move. I couldn't even turn around. I felt that the ground shook. It was that close. All 3 of us experienced it. Well, she said, what are we going to do? I said, put the fire out, because we was cooking little hot dogs and stuff on the fire pit down in the bottom. We stayed for the weekend, because I was working both properties, clearing the land, setting up trailers, because one of my bosses would use the trailers and move them to some of his trailer parks. I had a good relationship with both of them, and I did fiberglass work next door. He has his own, I won't say because, but anyhow, he did the boats. And so I learned that. So I was working both properties, and they had a pond right there that you can't fish, but you could feed the fish, but they wouldn't allow nobody to catch the fish. Well, we went on in. We discussed it. I mean, one of them hollered Bigfoot. I didn't. For the life of me, I don't remember if it was her or him, but they hollered, that's a Bigfoot. And I was like, yeah, it's got to be. Well, we went on the bed, and I never will forget this, Waters. At 3 o'clock, I know this for a fact, it came in almost a 2-bedroom trailer, because I was sleeping in a trailer over the weekend. It almost turned the trailer over. And then it did a drum roll on the side of it right above our head. It knocked her completely out the bed. And I was knocked from my pillow to my feet was almost touching the ground. And I tripped over my buddy going to the front door. I grabbed a machete or something. And I said, what the hell are you doing? He said, I heard it too. I did not doing nothing. But that was a horrifying experience, especially for them. For me, I was amazed. I was like, oh, what the heck? And it was so unnerving. But it's an absolute true story. I've had other things happen in the woods. I've hunted all my life, but I never put 2 and 2 together. But when it did that, I figured I pissed him off, because I couldn't recognize what I was looking at. I'm looking straight at these things. But I thought it was right at dark, getting darker and darker. And my brain, if it would have been a bear, I've bear hunted, I've done all that. I was like, any animal I would recognize. I was looking for a woman and a baby, because this baby was bawling. You could hear the mother cooing to it. Do Dogmen do that? Or is that? I think it was Bigfoot.
That's Bigfoot right there.
That's what I think.
Right into their house.
And
no, you cut your way into their house.
Yeah. And then I even mentioned to Sean. I said I want to talk to Waters, but it takes a lot of nerve to even For me, I'm not that kind of person. I'm old school. I'm 64 years old. But I said I'm going to go back because I want to see what. I know they lived there. It's right in the swamp. I know they lived there. And I know this sounds stupid, listening to you, maybe I shouldn't because I said I'm gonna take some sage and go back unarmed and walk in there and just make peace because I don't have nothing against those critters, whatever in the hell they are. But then I think about it and I'm like, nah, maybe I shouldn't. That might be the dumbest thing I could do. What do you think? Maybe should I do it?
I think you got away by the skin of your teeth, and
okay, don't go back.
You need to leave them alone because you have to understand something. You're dealing with animals that have a heightened sense of smell. They probably still remember your scent, and
well, I know they know me. I know they do.
Yeah, because you kept on working in that area afterwards. Did you guys?
No. The very next day, my boss came back. I went up to the office because Sean asked me the same thing. I went up. He said, well, why did they fire you? He didn't really fire me. He let me go. You know what I'm saying? I said, look, man, you got some Bigfoot down here. I told him just straight up. You know, I was honest about it. I said, and all the dogs is raising holy, you know what, all in the neighborhood. When that thing roared, you couldn't hear a peep out of any dog in the neighborhoods. And you know, in the fall, you could see up on the ridge, and you could see the house across the swamp, which is about 100 yards wide, where I was at. Everybody's lights went out, and there was not a peep out of another dog. But we put out the fire. We was cooking, sitting around, target practicing, just having fun. We went in that house and went to sleep. This thing came back, and we didn't have no curtains up. I never told Sean this. It didn't have no curtains up. So how long was it out there peeping in the windows? But I remember when the clock, it was one of those little wind-up clocks, it fell off the stand. The pictures, everything we had on the walls fell. I mean, it nearly flipped a 2-bedroom trailer over and then started beating on the side. That was terrifying. That was absolutely terrifying. I had to pretend to be the brave one, but it's bothered me to this day. And I'm like, I'm going back. Call me stupid, but, you know, that's what I was thinking. Then the more I think about it, I'm like, maybe I should leave it alone.
Yeah,
that makes. I'm sorry, I don't mean over talking. Nothing.
No, you're not over talking. But the only way I would see you wanting to go back is if it's something that scared you so much that you feel like you need to face it again. Some people get to that point. But the truth of the matter is,
to be honest about it, that's the way I feel. And I feel like if I go with honest intent, maybe I'll get killed. But I can't run. You know, I'm on oxygen. I'm disabled, and you know, I'm a cancer survivor. I've been through a lot of stuff. And if I go, I'm not going to even go. I'm not going to. Well, I might go on, but I probably go unarmed because I think they can feel your intent. I don't know why I think that, but I believe they can feel your intent, and I think they're intelligent creatures. And I think pardon my language, but I think it pissed them off because they revealed themselves, but I couldn't. My brain couldn't get around what I was looking at. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, but I
those
think you need to look at it from
there. Those two. I don't mean cut you. Those 2 trees were not there. I'm a hunter. I've everything from wild boar to bear to deer. I've done it. If any animal would have went through, but I wasn't in there looking for Bigfoot. I was in there thinking that it was a woman with a kid. I honestly, because the baby was crying exactly like a human. And that's what got me. And my buddy, of course, he's too chicken, pardon my language, he's too chicken shit to go in with me. But I said, I got to go in because I thought maybe somebody was running from an ex-husband or somebody. I didn't know what was happening. But those woods was always creepy, always silent. And you could not see an animal in there, and it was a perfect territory for animals. So I thought, maybe I pissed them off because they thought I actually saw them, and I looked at them for like 10 minutes. I didn't know what I was looking at, but I was thinking, where did those 2 trees come from? I was here before it got dark. Then these 2 big, tall, dark shadows appeared in front of me, because you know how you hunt. If you're a deer hunter, you don't just make no jerky, fast movements. So I backed up against the biggest cypress tree I could find, and I moved my eyes, and then I looked back, go to the left or right. I don't remember which direction I was looking, but when I looked back, I said, where did these 2 things come? Where did these 2 trees come from? And in my mind, there were two broke off trees. But one, I was measured my ceiling because I tried to shrink it. The thing looked 12 foot tall to me. But, you know, I didn't have a measuring tape or nothing like that. I mean, it was about 40, 50 yards in front of me. And one was about 2 foot shorter. They was not there. It was right after sunset. So it's getting darker and darker. I think they got mad because they thought I saw them. I did see them, and they revealed themselves. And I think they thought that I was challenging them. Maybe let me shut up. I don't know.
It's okay. I mean, you're trying to figure it out.
You still, you admire what you do. I've been watching that cam you got going, and I'm like, this man's got. He's really on it. You and what's his name? Vault.
Yep, that's him.
He is. That's a wild man. And he's good at what he does. I'm telling you, he's good at what he does. Because anybody to go in there and track those Dogmen, I don't never want to see one. But anybody that can walk in the woods and track like that is very good at what they do. And that's a dangerous thing that he does. And you have to be brave to do something like that. So my hat's off to him too. all you guys do great. And
well, I appreciate you, brother.
You're the top dog. You're the top dog. I'm already subscribed, and I want to figure out how I can, get involved in join in whatever you got going on. So maybe we can talk about that another time. And I apologize for calling in, but it just inspired me so much. I said I got to call in, and I didn't want to rehash something, but that was something that really has been bothering me for years, and I've got access to go back. I've talked to a couple of people. They know I'm telling the truth. I don't make stuff up. And I'm thinking, go with a peaceful heart and intent. Now I might get my head ripped off. I don't know, but it could have killed us that night. That was very. It was a bad situation. There's no other way for me to look at it, because the blocks underneath the trailer were shifted. It actually grabbed the trailer and tilted it on one side toward the east, and threw my friend completely out of the bed, nearly threw me out of the bed. Only reason I know what time it was is because after I looked at the door, I looked at the clock, and it was 3:05, so it's 3 o'clock when it happened. So they waited that long to come and get even. But I wasn't in the woods to mess with them. I was in the woods thinking I was helping a woman and a kid. Does that make any kind of? Maybe I'm stupid, but that's what happened. And it's good for other people to know that stuff like that can happen. That's the only reason I talk about it, because a lot of people think you're crazy, but it was 3 of us. It wasn't just me. It was 3 of us that experienced it. And there's a lot of other things happening in my life I won't even go into. But that was the most harrowing. One of the most harrowing things that ever happened in my life. But I had to pretend to be brave even though my knees were shaking.
I bet they were.
I'll be honest about it.
I bet they were. I bet your knees were shaking.
Oh, yeah. It was unnerving. And the thing is, if somebody come up behind you and shoot a gun, what you going to do? You're going to look straight around. This thing roared and hollered for about, I'd say, I'm not sure, but close to 12 seconds. It was like one long thing, but there were syllables in it like a human language. It was I almost got mauled by a big bear up close bow hunting. This thing it's just like if you was at a concert and laid your head against the speaker and then somebody took a bass guitar and slammed it on the ground. But I couldn't turn my head. I couldn't move. I could not look back until it was done. It was so humbling and so terrifying, but the normal reaction is to look behind you. I could not move. It just shut me down. It made me feel real small. But anyhow, I'm going to get off here. I just wanted to call and tell you that story because I wanted to talk to you for a long time, and it took me a long time to get up my nerve to even call.
Well, I appreciate you, brother. And you can call back anytime. I want to hear the rest of your stories. Call me back Tuesday. Let's talk about some more of your stories.
Okay. I do have... oh, Lord. oh Lord, I can tell you, talk about haunted houses and UFOs, aliens. For some reason, I'm just one of those unlucky ones. I've experienced it all, and I don't say this to many people unless they're close friends that understand. Like, for example, I've done a couple of hiking trips with, I call them kids, but they 20, 30-something years old, and we'll be going through the woods, and I'll see some stuff, and I'll stop them, and I'll tell them, let's turn around, like this tree that was broke off. When we came back down the tree, I said, now you walk up here and look around here. It's not lightning. It's a live tree, and it was peeled. The bark was peeled back. You probably know what I'm talking about.
Exactly, yeah.
And I've also came. I'm gonna get off of here, but I really want to ask you: have you ever heard of them making like dream catchers between trees on a trail? And you come across not a perfect circle, but it's very fine. But it looks just like, because I'm a crafter, it looks like a dream catcher with twigs and stuff blocking the trail where you can walk right through it and knock it down with one hand. But the ground was smooth, all pine, and it looked like a human had been through. We was going up through a canyon. I'm in western North Carolina, and I could tell that something had been going through there. And we went on, it was real high cliffs all around us. We went up toward the middle of it. We come between these two trees, and the entire trail was covered with the thinnest. You could knock it down with one hand. As soon as I saw that, I knew that was put there on purpose, so somebody could see if anybody went through. And there was no sign of other human beings up in there. Nobody goes where we were at, because I like to go way back in the woods. I said, let's turn around. He said, just knock it down. My buddy, Dalton, I said, do you see that? I said, we're turning around. We're going back right now. He said, oh, no, there you go. I said, look at that again. He looked at it. He said, yep, let's go back. Because I think they put it there to see if any humans went that far. At least that's what I think. I'm not certain. You know more about this stuff than I do. And I didn't mean over-talking, yada, yada. But I'm so impressed with what you're doing, and you're helping people. What you do is helping people. We all got to keep praying, though, because you never know, because the veils between the worlds is getting thinner and thinner, in my humble opinion. And, stuff flying over our head and things roaming through the woods. We don't never know what's going to happen. And I just feel like I hope I contributed a little bit to people just going through stuff to let them know, that it does happen. And you might as well tell the truth. What they say, tell the truth, shame the devil. Tell the truth,
shame the devil.
The truth will stand when the world falls down.
Absolutely.
And on my parents' grave, that story, every word of it is true. And I didn't tell your friend, I didn't tell him the details that I'm telling you because I was so nervous. You can't. None of this. I'm not rehearsing nothing. I'm going on my memory, which is not that damn good. Let me get off of here so you. And I, brother, I'm proud of you. When I found you a few months ago, I was like, this man is spot on, and people are having this stuff happen to them. And I felt like I should at least tell my story so if it happened to somebody else, they'll have a heads up. The shit's real. Pardon my language, but the stuff is real. It's real. It's real. Okay, I'm going to get off here, brother.
All right,
and I'm
love
sorry
you, brother.
for being on there so long.
No,
okay.
don't apologize.
I
love you. Thank you for calling, man.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for even bothering you, but thank you for
apologizing. You're going to make me mad. Don't apologize.
Okay,
I love you. I appreciate you,
I'm
man.
bad about that.
All right,
but I'm
man.
proud of you. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye-bye.